Hello everyone, Weather Jamaica here. Welcome to this updated video on weather across Jamaica and the rest of the Caribbean. It is Wednesday evening, July 16, 2025. Now before we jump into it, please ensure that you all like this video. I'd really appreciate it if you all get this video up to 100 likes. If you don't know by now, that's how the YouTube algorithm works. We all like the video and then the YouTube algorithm pushes the video out to more persons who are in the path of these tropical systems so that we can keep everyone safe, especially during the peak months of Atlantic hurricane season. That's August through to October. Share this video with your friends, your co-workers, your relatives, and even your church brethren, and subscribe if you haven't yet done so. Please ensure that you all utilize the progress bar that's located at the bottom of the video, as well as the timestamps that are located not only in the comment section but the video description, so that you can skip to the points in the video that you want to see the most in order to save time, because we know that the videos over here with the Jamaica can be very long. Leave a comment down below letting me know what the that's been like in your year recently. Also, feel free to ask any weather related question that you might have about the future of the weather in your specific area. Alright, so we need to highlight the fact that today is the anniversary of Hurricane Emily. It states here on our Twitter page today. Keep in mind that it was also posted on our Instagram page with the Jamaica, on our TikTok page with the Jamaica, and on our Facebook page with the Jamaica 876. So if you'd like to see more posts like this, ensure that you follow us over on our other social media platforms. So it states here, today in hurricane history, 20 years ago on July 16, 2005, Hurricane Emily passed Jamaica as a powerful Category 4 storm, bringing strong winds and torrential rainfall, causing 5 fatalities and racking up $65 million in damages in Jamaica. Do you remember this hurricane? And we can see the video that was posted here. It first highlighted the satellite imagery, then the track, as you can see here, passing just to the south of Jamaica. Category 4 strengthening to Category 5 right to the southwest of us, and St. Elizabeth was on the receiving end on the brunt of that system. If you'd like to see more, go over to other social media platforms. But we definitely had some commenters who remember this system. We have Stacy Della Pena stating, yes, she making me extra old. We have Cassandra Rose stating, can't forget Emily, home from hospital with my newborn and her family washed away and drowned by floodwaters in Myersville, St. Elizabeth. We have Selena stating, I don't remember it at all. We have Jermaine stating, I remember her so much. Even on our YouTube page, we had Randall Green right in here at the bottom stating, yes, I remember that storm, it was very bad. We have Active 4081 stating, yeah man. And we have Dolores Francis 5769 stating, remember very well, my uncle's house was flooded. Alright, so hopefully we don't get any more Emilys like that in any more Julys, because that was a crazy storm, man. As you can see, it definitely caused loss of life, not to mention the amount of money that it racked up. Hurricanes in general just bad. Alright, so we need to look at some expert insight. This is from Eric Webb. He's actually one of those persons on Twitter, if you haven't already been following, you need to fix that. He's a government meteorologist and that part of the weather industrial complex, and from time to time he makes some very accurate posts about the Atlantic hurricane season, and he actually just made this post at 7:23 p.m. Keep in mind that it is 7:35 p.m. right now, so this post just came out from him. He stated, there's a lot of noise on social media with this East Atlantic tropical wave at the end of July. While there are some things going for it, I'm not a huge fan of this big Saharan dust outbreak that's hot on its heels. These often occur immediately before and during Kelvin wave passage, and we see that he's highlighted the fact that some of these spaghetti model plots or some of the supercomputers are latching on to something formulating out here in the main development region. For reference, we have the Eastern Caribbean islands over here. We have Northern South America right over here. So he's stating that something, all of these L's are representing where something could form. Look at the time frame. We're talking about July 26, Saturday, July 26 at that. And he's also stating that the fact that there's so much Saharan dust out there, he's not really sure about that really happening. He's also highlighted the precipitable water map right here. In the greens they represent the moisture, and the browns they represent the possible Saharan dust outbreak that could be on the heels of whatever is trying to formulate. And we see it even better right here, some kind of airflow pressure, and the Saharan dust and the dry air catching up to that. So it's gonna be interesting to see exactly what unfolds, but keep in mind that that is way out there past the 168-hour time frame, which is why the Hurricane Center hasn't highlighted anything out there. This is the latest 7-day graphical tropical weather outlook from the US National Hurricane Center that just came out at 7:22 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, which is actually 6:22 p.m. Jamaica time. And all we see out there is the code orange right here across the northern Gulf, across the southern US Gulf states, and we see a lot of shore and thunderstorm activity. And down there, look at all of the bad weather. As a matter of fact, let's zoom in a bit, because that's crazy. Look at the deep convection, look at all of the blocks, look at all of the thunderstorms. They're definitely getting nailed right down in here. Louisiana, New Orleans, Mississippi. Look at the deep convection, look at all of the sparkling white dots that represents the amount of lightning strikes. If not lightning flashes, they're definitely getting nailed, but it is too close to land. That's the thing. If it was more so over some of the waters, it could possibly develop. Let us see what the Hurricane Center has stated. Let's see if we'll actually get the next name on the list, which is Dexter. Alright, so let's zoom in a bit. According to the Hurricane Center, it's a big one to read. Hold on. Alright, so according to the Hurricane Center, surface and radar observations indicate that a westward moving broad area of low pressure continues to be located near the coast of the western part of the Florida Panhandle. The associated shower and thunderstorm activity remains disorganized and located south to southwest of the center. This system is forecast to continue moving westward across the northern portion of the Gulf tonight and is expected to reach the Louisiana coast by Thursday. If this system moves far enough offshore, environmental conditions over the Gulf appear generally favorable for additional development, and a tropical depression could form over the next day or so before the system moves fully inland by the end of the week. Regardless of development, heavy rainfall could produce localized flash flooding over portions of Florida tonight and continuing for portions of the north central Gulf Coast through Friday. And this is that they've given this system a 40% chance of cyclone formation within the next 2 days, as well as within the next 7 days. Alright, so let's see what the Eastern Pacific map is showing. Tropical cyclone activity is not expected during the next 7 days, and we see why. A lot of clouds across the intertropical convergence zone, a lot of wind shear down there as well. Nothing really organized at this time, so it doesn't look like we're going to be getting the next name on the list, which is Gil at all. On the Western Pacific side of things, and not only the Western Pacific side of things, but even the Indian Ocean side of things, the Southern Indian Ocean at that, has a brand new tropical cyclone down there right to the northwest of Australia, to the far east of Madagascar. But looking at the Western Pacific, a lot of cloud showers and thunderstorms currently affecting portions of the Philippines as we speak, and as such we have a code red down there, something that could develop. Nothing organized at this time, but could definitely get the next name on the list over there. But we're focusing most of our attention on this system right here across the Southern Indian Ocean that's expected to push out towards the west and then towards the south, currently packing maximum sustained winds of 35 knots. So it's right there at low end tropical storm status, as you can see in there. According to the Joint Typhoon Warning Center, it is Tropical Cyclone 1. So no name as yet, but as you can see, nothing really organized. It is just down there. It's expected to push out towards that direction, maybe getting closer to Madagascar, but not necessarily. Taking a look at the surface map of the Atlantic for this evening, we can see a ridge of high pressure to the north that we know is responsible for sending all of the easterly trade winds across the main development region into the Caribbean. The high pressure ridges are dominating. A tropical wave is supposedly to the east of Jamaica. A tropical wave is supposedly across the eastern Caribbean, and another tropical wave is right there affecting the Cabo Verde Island. And we see the blue spike line associated with the tail end of a cold front, extending all the way from the northern portion of North Atlantic all the way down to the north of the main development region. And if we take a look at the visible satellite images of the Atlantic before we lost sunlight, let's see if we can make out some of these entities. So apparently there's a tropical wave somewhere in here, but where are the clouds? Don't really see the clouds associated with that tropical wave at all. But we definitely had some rainfall crossing over Jamaica today. You can see the clouds associated with that code orange right here across the northern Gulf. We can actually make out the clouds associated with that frontal system, extending its tail all the way down into the waters to the north of the main development region. There's a tropical wave somewhere in here, according to the surface map. Another tropical wave somewhere in here, according to the surface map. But one thing is for sure though, we can definitely make out the low to mid-level flow of the clouds being steered from east to west, all courtesy of the ridge of high pressure to the north. We'll be talking more about the rest of the Caribbean weather later on. Let us focus our attention on the prediction that was made in yesterday's video about the weather across Jamaica for today, Wednesday, July 16, 2025. It was stated that rainfall could have been in the forecast of parts of eastern Jamaica on Wednesday morning, also affecting sections of some central and western parishes during Wednesday afternoon. And we know eastern Jamaica, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Surrey, like Portland, St. Thomas, Kingston, and St. Andrew. Central parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Middlesex, like St. Anne, St. Mary, Manchester, Clarendon, and St. Catherine. While western parishes, we're talking about those parishes in the county of Cornwall, like Hanover, St. James, Trelawney, Westmoreland, and St. Elizabeth. And what ended up happening? At around 8:01 a.m., the visible satellite images were posted not only here on our Twitter page with Jamaica, but also other social media platforms. And they highlighted some clouds bringing some overcast skies, if not some isolated showers, to sections of St. Thomas, Portland, sections of St. Mary, spilling into sections of St. Anne for sure. And even during the afternoon hours at around, well, not the afternoon as yet, but at around 10:46 a.m., we still saw those clouds that were affecting the north and the eastern ends of the island, pushing across into central and western parishes for sure, bringing overcast skies, if not some isolated showers to sections of those areas. And even during the afternoon, we still had some leftover clouds across, especially western Jamaica. And the visible close-up satellite imagery right here confirms this. We see the clouds bringing overcast skies, if not some isolated showers. The section of Clarendon, Manchester, St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, section of Hanover, getting in on some of the action. Almost all parishes gotten on some kind of cloud cover, if not some isolated shower activity today, and I'm sure the people are grateful for that. And the infrared, we can see here, not really showing much in the way of crazy thunderstorms today, just the low to mid-level clouds in the grey shades pushing from east to west across the island. There's some brief isolated convections right here across the waters to the west of us, and even across sections of western Hanover right in there. And we definitely have some confirmation right here. See Jamaica's YouTube channel today at around 1:13 p.m. We can clearly see people walking about, going about their business, people in their vehicles going about their business. Just a bit overcast, but that was basically it. Nothing really, rainy or anything like that. Definitely cloudy conditions for the most part in halfway tree. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to see more live streams like this, just visit See Jamaica on YouTube. They have these live streams all for your viewing pleasure, and they're planning on increasing the amount of cameras that they have in and around the island. So subscribe today so that you don't miss out. Even the total accumulated precipitation for the past 24 hours from the Caribbean Institute for Meteorology and Hydrology website is confirming that rainfall that took place today, especially across the central and western portions of the island. And we definitely have some comments here from some of our subscribers about what the weather was like in their area today. On our YouTube page, we have Zodi Max stating rain in St. Mary finally. We have Ricardo Porteous 800 stating it is raining. I wonder what parish that was. We have Active 4081 stating rain. We also have Active 4081 confirming once again rain now. Randall Green stating good evening weather Jamaica. We got some light rain in Brownstown, St. Anne this morning. It's now cloudy. Even on our TikTok page, we had Miller_stick stating that the weather in their area was fair. On our Instagram page, we had this comment from John Down_Kelly98 stating, which northern? Cause I'm in Ochi and heat and mash me up. And then about 2 hours later, so as you can see, it was posted 11 hours ago, then I posted 9 hours ago, so that was 2 hours later. I said, how about now? Is it raining there now? Then jamdown underscore Kelly98 confirmed, stating rained for a few, and I'm glad that they confirmed that, as I know that they were getting rainfall. We also have Marlon underscore one God underscore sitting rain now. Sexy underscore lemon 2005 sitting St. Catherine rain. Any more? We have Joy Bell underscore 51 sitting dry like chips in Clarendon. Mountain dot underscore sitting dry like chips. Stating is what really a going. Boy, some people getting it, some not. The haves and the haves not. And finally on our Facebook page we had Latoya Taylor stating it's very cool. Alright, so that confirms the comments for today. Let us reload the very latest still image from the Weather Nerds website. Let us see what's happening right now. The latest still image is showing 0035 UTC, which is actually 7:35 p.m. So this just came out, 12 minutes ago, considering that it is 7:47 p.m. right now. As you can see, the clouds are definitely dissipating. We have some leftover clouds across the east, pushing through. We have some leftover clouds across the west. The Cuban Doppler radar, let us reload it. Let us reload the latest Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar. And the latest Cayman radar, let's see what's happening right now. Unfortunately, it looked like the Cuban Doppler radar glitched out at around 9:50 a.m. Eastern Standard Time this morning, which is about 8:50 a.m. Jamaica time. And at that time, we saw that rain band that was pushing through sections of St. Anne, St. Mary, and Portland. Section of St. Thomas definitely gotten on some of the action as well. I got on some decent rainfall, and I am grateful. Which Doppler radar was showing what's happening now, though. The Guantanamo Bay US Navy radar, on the other hand, showing some rainfall across the northwestern end of southeastern Cuba. You can also see some rain bands right here off of the coast of the western peninsula of Haiti. The Cayman radar, on the other hand, showing some of that rainfall that central Cuba gotten on today, the light to slightly moderate rainfall in the blues and greens. You can also make out some of the rain bands to the north and west of the Cayman Islands as well. The live camera here from See Jamaica's YouTube channel showing downtown Kingston, Orange Street, as you can see here. People in their vehicles going about their business, people walking about going about their business. The evening should definitely be fair. Taking a look at the temperatures right now, we can see that about 28 degrees Celsius in both Montego Bay and Kingston. And by about 4 a.m. on Thursday, temperature should dip down to about 25 degrees Celsius in Montego Bay, 24 degrees Celsius in Kingston. Taking a look at the temperature forecast for tomorrow. This map from the GFS is valid for AT&Z on a Thursday, which is actually 1 p.m. on Thursday, and we can see Jamaica right here embedded in the grays that we know represents average or normal temperatures. And we know the normal temperature for the month of July across Jamaica is around 91 degrees Fahrenheit. When that's converted to degrees Celsius that we use here in Jamaica, that's around 32.8 degrees Celsius. So we should be receiving that for Jamaica's temperature on Thursday. And unfortunately, we have a few maintenance outage advisories here from my JPS Online's Twitter page that we have to highlight. And we know that we have to highlight these because we know that when we have power outages somewhere across the island, it can definitely make the heat feel even worse because we don't have our fan or our AC to cool us down. So if you live or work in these areas, or if you have friends or relatives who live or work in these areas, please let them know that a power outage is coming their way on Thursday, July 17, 2025. We're referring to Long Hill as well as Mount Industry in the parish of St. Andrew from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. And we are also referring to Tangle River, Red Ground, Garland, Flamstead, Johnson Hill, Pimento Hill, Jackson Road, Cold Spring, and Moko, all in the parish of St. James from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And we have some tips right here to beat the heat as usual. Dress down, wear lightweight clothing and use sunscreen. Check on others, including children, elderly people with medical conditions, and pets. Be cool, stay indoors and make use of fans and air conditioners. Avoid alcohol and caffeine as they can make dehydration worse. Limit non-essential strenuous activity during the hottest parts of the day. And I cannot stress enough the importance of keeping hydrated throughout the day. Drink lots of water, even if you're not thirsty, and put away those sugar drinks and drink water instead. Alright, so we're still seeing that we still have a lot of dry areas represented by the yellows, oranges, reds across the entire Atlantic basin. The dry areas we know is responsible for keeping the atmosphere stable, making it harder for it to rain, and we see a lot of that, just like what we see on the key on the bottom, across the entire Atlantic. But We wish we had more of this that we see across the southwestern Atlantic into the Gulf. A lot of blues. And you notice wherever we have the blues, we have a lot of clouds. That's where you know the moist air is. That's where you know rainfall is taking place. And we wish we had more of that across the basin so that we get more rainfall to keep water in our pipes. But at least the Saharan dust is not really that widespread or robust. We're heading into July 17, and as you can see, Jamaica should be in the clear, but by July 18, some Saharan dust should be back in July 19 as well, then clearing out by the end of the day on July 19, as you can see here. And we like that the more west it pushes, the more it dwindles down. You notice it was reddish into pinks, and then as you can see, the more west it pushes, the more it gets into the yellows and the greens, definitely dwindling. That's what we like. We don't like the crazy Saharan dust because we know that it causes very hazy skies, not to mention trigger respiratory illnesses in some persons. Regarding the wave forecast for tomorrow, still seeing that the highest waves are right here to the far south of Jamaica. The dark blues into the purples and the pinks represent 2 to 2.5 meter wave heights, and that's because of the strong easterly winds here. Up into the yellows represents 20 to 25 knot winds. And if we zoom in on Jamaica regarding the wave forecast, up to 1.6 meter wave height expected to the south of St. Thomas, south of Clarendon 0.9 of a meter wave height, south of Westmoreland 0.8 of a meter wave height, north of Hanover 0.9 of a meter wave height, north of St. Anne 1 meter wave height, north of Portland 1.3 meter wave height. And that's because of the winds that are expected. We see more of an easterly flow, definitely some strong winds for sure. We see the bright greens, we see the yellows, 20 to 25 knot winds for sure. And we also see where the air could pile up. Look at this. It's looking like we could have that air piling up once again across sections of some central and western parishes, and it looks to be taking set more so on the southern side of the island. So whatever comes off of the sea from the east could definitely affect us. The mere fact that we have a tropical wave in the air, maybe some more rainfall could be in store for us tomorrow. But the fact that we're hardly seeing the moisture on the visible, let's ignore that. Hopefully we actually do get the rainfall tomorrow. And we see that we don't really have much in the way of upper level wind shear at all. So very light, so cloud tops aren't going to be torn apart or anything like that. Let's see if we actually get the moisture tomorrow either way. In terms of the actual rainfall forecast, this map from the Euro and this map from the GFS are both valid for 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's actually 8 a.m. Jamaica time. And what do both maps show? We actually see the rain bands across the northeast on the GFS, especially right here to the north of Portland. Dark blues into the greens. That's some crazy rainfall. We don't really see that on the Euro, but we do see rain bands across the east and the waters to the north of there. Let's see what's ahead. 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's actually 10 a.m. Jamaica time. We're actually seeing even more rainfall across the east, maybe sections of some northern parishes, maybe central parishes. We'll see how that actually plays out. I would walk with my umbrella tomorrow if I were you, if you're going out. And then finally, by around 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, is actually 1 p.m. Jamaica time, we still see that rain band activity across sections of especially central and western parishes. Look at the Euro. Even more so robust is the GFS, especially across sections of Hanover, Westmoreland, St. Elizabeth, Manchester, section of Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, St. Andrew. It's mainly central and western parishes. At that time, very interesting. Could be possible, especially given the fact that the surface map is highlighting that there's a tropical wave to the east of us. And as stated, even although we're not seeing some crazy moisture to the east of us, that doesn't mean that the tropical wave isn't there. Could definitely gas up tomorrow, especially since we don't really have that crazy upper level wind and we don't really have that Saharan dust. Even although we have some dry air in the air, we don't really have that Saharan dust at all. Fingers crossed that we do indeed get that rainfall for sure though. And even the total accumulated precipitation forecast maps are in agreement that it's going to be raining somewhere in Jamaica within the next 24 hours. The Euro going up to at least 0.26 of an inch of rainfall. The GFS going up to at least maybe 0.37 of an inch of rainfall. And whatever happens, we'll definitely take it because we're in the month of July. And in Kingston, whose bar graph is being shown right here at the top, we usually receive around 50 millimeters of rainfall for the month. In Montego Bay's bar graph is being shown right here at the bottom, we usually receive around 3.2 inches of rainfall for the month. And I would like for you to keep in mind that if you'd like to find out what your specific parish usually receives in terms of rainfall for the month of July or for the entire year, you can visit weatherandclimate.com, and that website will show you that information. And you can use this nice graphic right here that converts rainfall from inches to millimeters that are received on the rain gauge. We know that 1 inch of rainfall is about the same as 25 millimeters of rainfall. Alright, so we're going to be looking at what the next 7 days have in store for us according to the latest Euro and GFS supercomputer model runs that came out today. So keep your eyes focused on the timestamp right here at the top as we go to the next 168 hours, that's the next 7 days. Keep your eyes focused on Jamaica right here as we look for all of this that we see on the key on the right. That's the reds, the oranges, the yellows, and the greens. That represents inches of rainfall. So let's see what's going to be taking place. Alright, so we just looked at Thursday's forecast. Now it's time to look at Friday, going all the way back to next Thursday. As you can see, we still have a lot of moisture across the northern Gulf by 7 a.m. on Friday. Don't really have much in the way of rainfall across Jamaica. Maybe some isolated showers across the far eastern end. Friday afternoon, on the other hand, not really seeing much of anything. To see if we have the agreement on the GFS. Isolated showers out east. Friday afternoon, not really much of anything either. Let us see what Saturday brings. Saturday morning, maybe some rainfall across the northeastern end of the island. Saturday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across central and western parishes. Let us see what the GFS shows. Saturday morning, northeastern end of the island getting in on that rainfall. Saturday afternoon, central and western parishes with that rainfall too. Let's see what Sunday morning shows. Not really much of anything on Sunday morning on the Euro. Sunday afternoon, eastern, central, western parishes with that rainfall. Let's see if the GFS shows the same. Sunday morning, rainfall across the far eastern end. Interesting. Sunday afternoon, rainfall across eastern, northern, and western parishes. Let us see what Monday morning shows. On Monday morning, maybe some rainfall across the far eastern end. Monday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across the eastern, central, and western ends of the island. On the GFS, Monday morning, nothing. Monday afternoon, northern and western parishes with that rainfall. That's what Tuesday morning shows. Tuesday morning, maybe some rainfall out east. Tuesday afternoon, what do we see? Maybe some rainfall across central and western parishes. Let us see if the GFS shows the same. Tuesday morning, nothing. Tuesday afternoon, maybe some rainfall across the eastern, northern, and western end. Let us see what Wednesday morning shows. On a Wednesday morning, not really seeing much across Jamaica. Wednesday afternoon, nothing either. And we're going to be stopping it right here at the end of the 168 hours. So this is valid for Wednesday, July 23. Let us see if we have the same thing on the GFS. Definitely not really much of anything at all. And regarding the total accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days, we're clearly seeing that not much change has been made for the entire month. We've been seeing a lot of dark reds into the purples and the pinks across sections of Northern South America into portions of Central America. That's where the 2 to all the way up to 5 inches of rainfall is expected, and it continues to be expected. So some isolated flash flooding could definitely take place in those areas, while other areas like Florida, the Bahamas, the Greater Antilles into the Lesser Antilles that are shaded in the greens, yellows, oranges, and reds up to at least 1 inch of rainfall. That's what's expected across those areas, so look out for that. But regarding Jamaica's total accumulated precipitation for the next 7 days, still seeing that the most rainfall on the Euro is across the far eastern end, up to at least maybe 48 millimeters of rainfall for eastern St. Thomas, Portland. GFS something similar, especially across the northeast. But the GFS is a bit more robust with the rainfall that's expected for western Jamaica. In the oranges, maybe up to 50, maybe 60 millimeters of rainfall in Hanover, Westmoreland, Northern St. Elizabeth, St. James. Don't really see that on the Euro. It's going to be very interesting to see all of this plays out. Whatever happens, I'll definitely be here to keep you posted with what occurs. Alright, so as you can see on the visible satellite images right here, we have some moisture pushing through the windward and leeward islands, the usual thunderstorm activity across Cuba, the system that's trying to develop across the northern Gulf. If we actually take a look at the Doppler radar images of the northeastern Caribbean near Puerto Rico, we can actually make out the light to moderate rainfall to the east of Antigua and Barbuda, passing through Puerto Rico as well. We see that they definitely gotten a lot of moisture today, especially across central and western Puerto Rico, moderate to heavy rainfall at that. The Barbados radar showing some moisture pushing in from the east, passing to the north of Barbados, pushing towards Martinique, St. Lucia. We see some other rainfall already affecting the Grenadines and Grenada, so moderate to heavy rainfall at that. Also affecting Trinidad and Tobago, more so Tobago right in here, heavy rainfall for sure. And If we take a look at the weather wave Doppler radar images, we can actually see those rain bands even better pushing towards Trinidad. We can also see some of the rainfall across central Cuba into western Cuba, sections of the northern portion of the Yucatan getting in on some of that rainfall. And we see some rainfall passing to the north of the ABC Islands and Colombia. And regarding where the rainfall is expected within the next 24 hours, both maps right here from the Euro and the GFS are adamant that the most rainfall should be wherever we have the yellows, oranges, and rise up to at least an inch of rainfall expected for the northern Bahamas, Florida, sections of Cuba, sections of Costa Rica, Panama, Colombia, Venezuela, Guyana, Suriname, French Guiana, while other areas that are shaded in the greens, yellows, oranges, maybe at least up to 0.5 of an inch of rainfall expected for the Bahamas, Cuba, Jamaica, Haiti, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, Guadeloupe, Dominica, Martinique, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Grenada, sections of Honduras, Belize getting on some of the action as well. And we can clearly see that both the Euro and the GFS models are in agreement with this forecast. And we know that when they're in agreement like this, the chances are higher for it to actually take place. Alright, so that's it for today. Thanks for watching.